Everyone thinks Ralph Lauren fall is just tweed blazers, cable knits, and equestrian boots. And yes, those are part of the DNA, but that's just scratching the surface. What makes Ralph Lauren powerful isn't the individual clothes, it's the world building. His fall aesthetic is a perfect blend of nostalgia, heritage, and romance. So today, instead of just saying, wear plaid, I want to go deeper. We'll decode the subtle, less obvious style cues Ralph Lauren uses, like mood, proportion, and cultural references, and how you can apply them without spending Ralph Lauren money. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Ralph Lauren is a master of selling dreams. When people think of Ralph Lauren fall, they think tweed blazers, riding boots, chunky knits. But that's not really it. What makes his world so magnetic is the story he tells around those pieces. Every campaign feels like a movie. It's not just a model in a coat, it's a family gathering for a weekend at an upstate estate. It's a group of friends laughing in a wood paneled library. It's the anticipation of a hunt ball or the quiet romance of walking through golden autumn fields. The clothes are part of a larger scene, and that scene is what makes them unforgettable. And this is the secret: Ralph Lauren sells not just clothes, but a narrative. Fall in his world is about tradition, heritage, and romance. Even if you don't own a single piece of Ralph Lauren, you can tap into the same feeling by thinking about the story you're dressing for. Instead of asking, what pieces do I need? Ask, what mood am I trying to create? Are you dressing like you stepped into a fireside evening in a countryside lodge? Or like you're heading to a dinner party in an old brownstone? When you approach your wardrobe as storytelling, the outfits stop becoming a checklist and start becoming a world you can step into. When people think of Ralph Lauren, they think fit, the tailored jacket, the perfect trouser. But what's really happening is shape. He plays with silhouette the way a painter plays with light. A sweeping cape over slim pants, or a chunky knit tucked just enough into flowing wool trousers to create movement. It's less about clothing fitting perfectly to the body and more about clothing creating presence in a room. When you try this yourself, think in shapes: long over short, structured over fluid, big against small. That's what gives Ralph Lauren outfits their cinematic weight. It's all about the contrast, the balance between volume and sleekness, that makes the outfits feel both effortless and elegant. It's not about head to toe tailoring, it's about creating tension that looks natural. In European fashion houses, fall layering often feels like choreography. Every scarf is folded just so, every lapel is pressed sharp, every layer is exact. Ralph Lauren flips that script. His idea of luxury isn't about control, it's about ease. Think of a trench coat draped over the shoulders like you might let it slip off at any moment, or a cashmere scarf thrown on without a second thought. Even the loosened tie at a dinner table feels intentional in his world. This isn't carelessness, it's confidence. It's saying, I don't need to prove that I tried because I belong here. That's why his ads feel lived in and authentic, not staged. The models look like they're already in the middle of their story, not dressing up for one. When you recreate Ralph Lauren fall style, lean into that imperfection. Leave a shirt half unbuttoned under your sweater. Let a coat swing open instead of being belted tight. The point isn't to look styled, it's to look like you're already living the life the clothes suggest. One of Ralph Lauren's greatest tricks is balance. He never lets his collections lean only into polish because polish without contrast feels sterile. Instead, he creates tension by mixing refinement with ruggedness. This is why you'll see a velvet evening gown photographed against a backdrop of a rustic barn or a tweed blazer tossed casually over faded jeans. He'll pair cowboy boots with a silk skirt or throw a cashmere turtleneck under a weathered leather jacket. This duality is essential. It's what keeps the Ralph Lauren world from feeling stiff or overly precious. It's a reminder that true luxury can get a little messy. It can walk across a muddy field and still look chic. To bring this into your own fall wardrobe, think in contrasts. Balance something refined with something broken in. Wear a polished cashmere sweater with scuffed riding boots, or layer a sharp blazer over lived in denim. The sweet spot of Ralph Lauren isn't perfect polish, it's the conversation between refinement and the everyday. Another quiet signature of Ralph Lauren is his ability to make clothes feel storied, even when they're brand new. An oversized coat looks like it could have belonged to your grandfather. A pair of scuffed boots feel like they've walked through decades of autumns. Sweaters with elbow patches, jackets soften shoulders, fabrics that look like they've absorbed years of wear. This isn't an accident, it's a strategy. Ralph Lauren isn't selling trends, he's selling legacy. That's why his campaigns often feel nostalgic, like you're stepping into a family history that existed long before you. The clothes suggest tradition, continuity, and the comfort of belonging to something bigger than yourself. If you want to capture this in your own style, don't focus on perfection. Skip the shiny, brand new head to toe look. Instead, work in pieces that feel lived in, weathered, or oversized. Reach for vintage finds or style new items in a way that feels old, like rolling the sleeves on a cable knit sweater or leaving leather slightly scuffed. The charm is in the story the clothes tell, not in how crisp or flawless they look. In Ralph Lauren's fall campaigns, accessories are never an afterthought. They're not chosen for logos or flashiness, they're chosen because they complete the story. Think of them as storytelling cues. A pair of perfectly broken in leather gloves, a vintage watch, a plaid scarf loosely knotted at the neck. These aren't there to impress, they're there to place you in a scene. A library shop calls for tortoise reading glasses and perhaps a signet ring on the hand holding an old book. A barn setting requires a rugged leather belt and boots that can handle dirt and hay. These accessories aren't loud, they're deeply atmospheric. If you want to channel this yourself, start thinking of accessories as props in a film. Ask, what would my character wear on a crisp October morning walking down a tree lined street, or an intimate dinner in a candlelit room? Once you see them this way, even the smallest detail, a scarf, a watch, a belt, suddenly feels essential to the narrative you're telling. This is something most people completely overlook. In Ralph Lauren's world, the space always dictates the clothes. He doesn't just design garments, he designs wardrobes that belong to specific environments. A wood paneled library calls for tweed jackets, houndstooth, perhaps a pipe or leather loafers. A scene in a barn means denim, boots, and a flannel shirt layered under a wax jacket. A dinner table dressed in silver calls for velvet gowns and tailored tuxedos. That's why his campaigns feel so immersive. They're not just outfits, they're costumes for a lifestyle. To borrow this trick yourself, try dressing with a sense of place. Instead of only thinking, what looks stylish today, ask, where am I dressing to belong? If it's a cafe, maybe that's a trench and loafers. A gallery might call for sharp tailoring and bold jewelry. A country walk, wool knits and weathered boots. Dressing with location in mind doesn't just make you stylish, it makes you look like you belong in the scene. Finally, let's talk about color, because this is where Ralph Lauren is quietly brilliant. He doesn't use color simply to check off a seasonal box. Instead, he uses it to create mood and emotion. Burgundy isn't just a fall shade, it communicates richness, romance, and intimacy. Camel isn't just a neutral, it feels like heritage, like continuity across generations. And navy isn't just a classic, it signals trust, tradition, and quiet authority. This is why his ads feel cinematic. The colors aren't background, they're emotional cues. If you want to use this in your own fall wardrobe, stop treating colors as decoration and start treating it as storytelling. Ask yourself, what do I want this outfit to project? Is it warmth, sophistication, quiet strength, or playful energy? Choosing colors with intention, not just defaulting to fall tones, is what makes an outfit feel Ralph Lauren. It transforms clothes into mood pieces, and every shade becomes a part of your narrative. The reason Ralph Lauren Fall never feels dated is because it's aspirational but human. It sells the fantasy of Ivy League sophistication and countryside elegance, but grounds it with denim, scuffed boots, and knits that look lived in. That's why you can recreate it with thrifted finds or affordable brands. The magic isn't in the logo, it's in the styling and the narrative. Here on this channel, I strive to be as solution oriented and give you guys as many practical applications as possible. So here's how to actually live a Ralph Lauren fall without buying Ralph Lauren. Number one, play with scale. Pair oversized coats or chunky knits with slimmer bottoms for visual balance. Two, mix rugged and refined. Put jeans under a velvet blazer, wear riding boots with a flowy skirt. The clash is the vibe. Three, curate inherited pieces. Choose thrifted or slightly worn looking coats, scarves, or bags. Avoid buying things that look too crisp or mall new. Four, dress for setting. If you're going apple picking, lean into boots and wool. If you're doing a library or coffee shop day, think tweed or corduroy. Always let the environment lead. Five, imperfect luxury. Don't iron every crease, don't match every accessory. Ralph Lauren Fall is lived in elegance, not showroom perfection. Six, mood first colors. Instead of just saying burgundy is fall, ask what mood do I want to project? Trustworthy navy, romantic burgundy, nostalgic camel. Pick the emotion, then the color. And last but not least, at number seven, build a lifestyle closet. Instead of thinking in outfits, think in scenes. What would you wear to a fireside evening, to a crisp fall walk, to a cozy dinner party? This keeps your wardrobe cohesive and storytelling driven. So here's the secret: Ralph Lauren Fall isn't about clothes, it's about worlds. The textures, the proportions, the mix of rugged and refined, the inherited feel, the imperfect layering. You don't need the name tag, you need the mindset. Now, I want to know which part of Ralph Lauren fall mood speaks to you most: the countryside ruggedness, the Ivy League polish, or maybe the cozy fireside nostalgia. Comment down below and let's talk Ralph Lauren fall. And if you love these deep dive style essays, hit subscribe. We're just getting started with fall fashion. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around till the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!